Good morning, students. So I'm back with another video. Now today what we are going to do is, if you remember, the last day our last topic of discussion is, we discussed about atomic numbers. We discussed about a lot of atomic weights, or I can say mass numbers, and we also calculated how to find out the number of electrons, protons, and neutrons in an atom. Now after we have already done it, after we have already understood that how we are supposed to find out the numbers, now we are considering how to place our electrons in the different orbits or shells. Now there's a rule based on which we can actually put in our electrons on the different orbits or shells. We all know that electrons are present in the extra nuclear part of the atom, so we have to be bothered about that right now. And there are the rule that we follow to actually place our electrons in those particular orbits or shells is called the Bohr-Bury scheme. You can understand this is the name of two different scientists, Bohr-Bury scheme. So they have put out this scheme for us to understand how we can actually place our electrons in the different shells. Are they placed arbitrarily? The word arbitrarily means, like, are they placed anyhow that you want them to? No. They are placed based on a certain, a rule. We follow this rule. There are certain do's and don'ts when we put up this rule, and we have to follow them to actually put in our electrons correctly. So let us start with the rule. The first rule that we have over here is maximum electrons that can be present in a shell is equal to 2 into n square. Now this n is my shell number. That is the number of the shell that I'm taking. So like if it's the first shell, my n will be 1. If it's the second shell, my n will be 2. Fourth shell, n will be 4. Fifth shell, n will be 5, so on and so forth. The number of shells that an atom will have will definitely vary. That will depend upon its atomic number. That will depend upon the number of electrons present inside an atom. So obviously higher the number of electrons present, automatically higher will be the number of shells to accommodate. Number of shells will be required to accommodate them will be higher. Anyway, so the first and the most important rule is maximum number of electrons in that shell can be 2n square. Now when I use the word maximum, it means that number of electrons can be less than this, but it can never be more than this. Be very sure of it. Just because I have said 2n square doesn't mean that exactly this amount of electrons have to be present all the time. No, it can be lesser than that, but the maximum number of electron has to be this. So pertaining to this particular rule, if I have to find out, so suppose now my n is equal to 1, that is I'm talking about the first shell. So how many electrons can I have over here? 2 into 1 square, my n is 1. So 2 into 1 square is equal to 2. That means the maximum number of electrons that I can have in the first shell of any atom is 2. First shell of any atom, mind you, this particular scheme is for all the atoms. It's not specific to any particular atom. It is for all the atoms. So the number of electrons, maximum number of electrons in the first shell of any atom can be 2. Now if I move to my second shell where n is equal to 2, there you will see the number of electrons will be automatically equal to 2n square. So 2 into, now my n is also 2. So 2 square, that comes to 8. So the maximum number of electrons that I can have in the second shell or second orbit of an atom is actually 8. I repeat, it is a maximum number. Doesn't mean that you have to have 8 electrons all the time. You can have 7, you can have 6, you can have 4, you can have 3. But the maximum that you can have in the second shell is 8. So now if you're talking about third shell, so third shell I have not shown it here, so you can do the calculation on your own. So it will be 2 into 3 square. So 3 square is actually 9. So 9 into 2, that brings you to 18. So maximum 18 electrons in the third shell. This is how it goes. So that's all about my first law, I can tell you. Now I move to my second one. There are just 3 rules here. I move to my second one. Now they said that, okay, that's fine. You are moving from first shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell, whatever you are getting into. But whatever is the last shell of that particular atom that can have a maximum of 8 electrons, not more than that. So last shell can have only 8 electrons. Now suppose my fourth shell is the last shell. Suppose fourth shell is my last shell or last orbit in an atom. Now according to my first rule, if I go by the first rule of 2n square, there actually, if it's in the fourth shell, maximum number of electrons is 2n square. So 2 into 4 square. 4 square is 16. So 16 into 2 is 32. You should have had 32. Maximum electrons should be 32 in the fourth shell. But Bohr-Bury also said that no, if my fourth shell turns out to be the last shell in that particular atom, then maximum number of electrons that it can have is 8, not more than that. Can be less than that. Again, the same thing. Last shell can have electrons less than 8, but it can never have electrons more than 8. Clear? I hope this is clear. Next, we move to the last rule, you can say. Maximum electrons in the penultimate shell can be 18. Now, what do I mean by the word penultimate? This is of utmost importance. I don't know whether you know this word. Many of you must be knowing it. Penultimate means the one before the last shell. So it's like the second last shell. So if the last shell can contain maximum 8 electrons, what they also said is the second last shell can also contain maximum 18 electrons, not more than that. So you can have something less than 18 electrons in the second last shell, but there's no question of having more than 18 electrons in the second last shell. So that is all about. So again, I repeat that if the penultimate shell, suppose your atom has total 7 shells. So your penultimate shell or your second last shell is the 6th shell. So if you see the first law of maximum number of electrons based on 2n square, you will see the number of electrons coming for the 6th shell is very, very high. But they mentioned that no, that's not going to happen. Last shell maximum 8, penultimate shell maximum 18. Not a single one more than that. So that is all about Bohr-Bury scheme. So next day when we have direct classes, we will continue with the whoever is taking your class, whether it's me or some other teacher. So we will continue from the examples and how we can write down the electronic configuration based on Bohr-Bury scheme. So before your major classes start, your job is to go through the Bohr-Bury scheme, to go through the atomic number, mass number, how we are calculating electrons, protons and neutrons, and of course do the worksheet that I had given you the last day. Please ensure that it is done in your exercise books because everybody has their exercise book right now. You also have your new textbook. So go through the Bohr-Bury scheme, try to understand it so that in our next classes we can directly go to writing the electronic configurations. Thank you.